What's up, my friends? Here we are again, doing Level Up's Ask a Life Coach thing. So let's do it. What's the best way to be successful at making a big change in my life? Okay, well, we could start by maybe letting go of this notion of success. I think it sort of implies the opposite, that somehow you're already failing. And so I don't like that, right? I don't like when we feel like we have to evaluate our lives. Like, well, I haven't succeeded yet, but once I do that, then I'll be a success. So letting go of any pressure, accepting wherever you're at right now is where I would start. With big changes, there's different approaches. There's that leap of faith, and then there's the slow and steady. I'm usually an advocate for that slow and steady. Find your inner snail, take one tiny scooch at a time, and then progress is progress, no matter how slowly you go. There's that Lao Tzu quote, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I think there's a lot of wisdom in that. So when in doubt, how do you make the big changes? You take a single step and you forgive yourself when the journey is non-linear. You'll take some steps back along the way too, but it's not really back. It's just part of the journey. So you're still on the path and you're still doing great, even when you have those, quote unquote setbacks. And just keep scooching. Find whatever the smallest, most sustainable changes are, and just do those. And I think you'll build momentum, and I think you'll find that pretty soon they're adding up. So little changes compound pretty quickly, and before you know it, you've made some of those big changes in your life. Find that courage, find that freedom to be you, remind yourself why you're doing it, and then most importantly, make the big changes in a way that is intrinsically enjoyable to you. So if you have to suffer every step of the journey, you're probably not going to get very far. So find a way to do it that's meaningful and satisfying and joyful each and every step of the way. And then you probably won't even need to ask this question, because you're just doing what you like doing at that point. So yeah, make the changes in a way that is fun for you. All of life can really be a game. And so I invite you to play. I invite you to play your way to big change, rather than to feel like you have to hunker down and do it with lists and spreadsheets and columns of pros and cons and like a critical self-analysis or whatever else. If those are your jam, then obviously I don't want to tell anybody that they shouldn't do something that works well for them. But I found it in my own life that I make big changes just by slowly and smallly doing the things that I already like, that I already enjoy. And then when something seems like a chore or a task, finding ways to reframe it or approach it from a different mindset so that it can be a joyful journey. So thank you for this question. Whatever changes you're striving for, I wish you luck. And as always, I also invite you just to pause and appreciate all the awesomeness that you already have. I think that's really important before we embark upon any journey. Just realize you're already doing great and you're already awesome. So thank you for submitting the awesome question. Thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you back here next time.